calls for the U.S. government to do even more. Let's bring in Arkansas Congressman French Hill. He's a member of the Financial Services Committee. They've been trying to freeze Russia and Belarus out of future International Monetary Fund financing. The impact of the sanctions so far has been negligible. Putin still seems to want Ukraine, says he's going to keep up his war machine until he gets it. What more can the United States do at this point that would change his behavior?
Well, John, it's good to be with you. Yes, we have imposed draconian sanctions by sanctioning the central bank, which means he can't use that money for paying for imports and exports and making payments in the country. We've sanctioned the banking system. But there's a big gaping hole there, John, and that's the oil and gas business. We need to be stepping up production here first and foremost. We're running about 11 million barrels a day here. We can get it back up to 13 million barrels and get back to energy independence. And we should accompany that with what Joe Manchin has called for, which is a ban on Russian oil imports in the United States.
We currently import, what, about 600,000 barrels a day from them? So you're saying we could more than make up that difference if we would just unleash our own reserves.
That's right, and we need to get people back to work. The Biden administration has had fossil fuels on their target list. They need to reverse that and know that Putin is a clear and present danger to the world, and we can do a lot to counter that by unleashing American energy production, both in natural gas and oil and gas. That'll bring down prices for our own consumers, but more importantly, it offers a real lifeline to our friends in Europe.
Well, talking about prices, yesterday's gas price current average in this country was a little over $4 a gallon. 1 year ago, as the graphic shows, it was $2.76. And if you look at the recent trends, yes, $4.01 now. Yesterday it was $3.92. A week ago, $3.64. It has been on a rapid climb since this war started, and especially since talk of the war started. How quickly do you think we could turn that around if we would start drilling drilling for more oil in this country?
Well, if we kept the Trump policies of streamlining pipeline approvals, streamlining drilling permits, opening up new federal lands for drilling, not having a war on fossil fuels, like intimidating public companies to divest fossil fuel investments and banks, we'd be ahead of the game. A lot of that price increase is directly related to the bad Biden energy policies of the last year. That's just made it worse now that we're in an emergency. It'll take months to do that, John, and that's why we need to get started now. And we do need to work with our allies in the Gulf on increasing their production as well. We've got to counter this. And in addition to nuclear weapons, his energy power is immense.
Yeah, and the price of oil having risen so dramatically is helping pay for his assault on the people of Ukraine.
Precisely. We spent $17 billion buying Russian oil in 2021, and we need to take that to zero this year. But we need to unleash that production and get our allies in the Gulf states to do that as well. Canada, other producers, Mexico, to boost production. That will help offset that price, which is, as you say, fueling the war machine of really Putin, who's really a madman. I guess he's not satisfied in killing children in Syria. He now wants to do it in Europe.
And if the United States and perhaps Europe were to stop buying Russian oil, what's he going to do with it? He can't eat it.
Well, he can certainly sell it to China. China is his partner. China's not playing anything that's constructive in shutting down this war machine in Europe. They announced that they're now going to accept the credit card system in Russia to get around sanctions. We need China, if they want to be an important global player, a real power in the world, they need to help bring Putin to heel and not buy his oil and gas.
The Ukrainian ambassador to the United States was on Fox News Sunday this morning and begged the U.S. to do more. Here's her plea.
Russia is not changing their behavior. They're escalating, actually. They're killing us more and more. The sanctions should toughen up. So we're asking for full embargo on oil and gas, for everything. This is a terrorist state, and we should treat Russia as a terrorist state.
Treat Russia as a terrorist state. What do you think about that proposal? Just make Russia an international pariah.
Well, Putin's guilty of genocide. The Ukrainians wisely have filed cases in the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. I think there's no doubt he's already a war criminal, in my view, for the work he's done in Syria. This is just compounding that. I support the idea of tougher sanctions. I support the idea of getting surface-to-air missiles and aircraft into Ukraine to help them defend themselves. And I understand the tough place we're in when Russia produces 40% of Europe's energy. That's why it's going to take unleashing Americans' resources and other oil producers, both in the Western Hemisphere and in the Gulf.
But those who like the Green New Deal, for instance, what do you say to them when they say, you know, drilling for oil in this country is going to contribute to climate change?
Look, John Kerry and Dick Durbin are tone deaf. Russia is a clear and present danger to the world. We can worry about the Green New Deal later. We need to save Europe and get Putin out of the Ukraine and save the Ukrainian people as their partner. This is a free and sovereign country, and it is a much more important issue than the long-term issue of climate. We have years to meet our objectives of a less carbon world, but we need to get rid of Putin today.
Congressman French Hill, Republican of Arkansas. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, John.
So you